The oops. The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. My name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for this 14th day of January 2026. Because it's January, you still have to remind yourself that it's the new year. It is 2026, and today on the program, we actually have the top two teams in the National League East. Or at least that's the way it came out on paper by October. The New York Mets apparently had a rainy week in Pittsburgh because they've only played one game so far. The Phillies got in two before we played this Friday nighter at the Vet in Philadelphia. So the Mets, as you know what they did in 86. Phillies were in second place. They were 20-some-odd games behind. But if there is one team that might, and, we're talking Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, and Easter Bunny here, give the Mets a toughy time in the National League East, it is the Philadelphia Phillies, because the Cardinals just kind of fell apart. Is that going to happen? No. Or at least I don't think so, but keep hope alive. It could be the Phillies. So it'll be Ron Darling going for the Mets. Gooden pitched opening day against the Pirates, and this is only, as I said, the Mets' second game of the season. The Phillies are going to go with Kevin Gross. And so that's the setup for you. The Mets and the Phillies start a 3-game weekend series from the Vet next on Retro Sports Network. As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Replay 1986. Today, from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it is the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Mets. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find Dave, Vinny, and Joe today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. So it will be Kevin Gross on the mound for the Phils. Kevin made 36 starts for the Phillies in 86, 25 years old, fastball at 89, and a ground ball pitcher. He was 500, 12-12 with a 4.02 ERA. Came out of the pen once, threw 2 shutouts, by the way. How you doing, Steve? Steve's rooting for the Mets. 241 2/3 for Kevin, 240 hits, 115 runs, 108 earned, 28 home runs, that's a lot, 94 walks, and 154 strikeouts. Here's the Mets lineup for you on this chilly Friday night in Philadelphia, April 11th, if you will. 1986, Lenny Dykstra leads off in center. Wally Backman at second will bat second. Keith Hernandez at first will go third. Gary Carter cleans up behind the plate. Darryl Strawberry in right will bat fifth. What a middle of the lineup that is. Danny Heap in left will go sixth. Howard Johnson at third will bat seventh. Rafael Santana at short batting eighth. And Ron Darling on the hill goes ninth. Gross can get you 115 pitches, 8 innings on a good day. I know you. I was thinking of that, John. John always takes the road team in the polls. He took the Mets against his Phillies. I don't know. Gary Reedus is a 6 and a 6 in left field as we set the Philly defense for you. Milt Thompson, who I forgot was there, a 6 and a 3 in center. Glenn Wilson, a 7 and a 9 in right. Mike Schmidt is a 10 at third. Steve Jeltz is a 6 and a 7 at short. Juan Samuel, a 5 and a 5 at second. The Mets are scouting him. Vaughn Hayes, a 6 at first. Darren Dalton, must be his rookie year, a 5 and a 3 behind the plate. Gross, a 3 on the mound with a .964 fielding percentage. How you doing, Scott? He left after this and came back for 93. Yep. Okay. Lenny Dykstra went 2 for 5 in the opener against Pittsburgh and drove in 2. Overall, in what would be his breakout year, 295, 8 homers, and 45 RBI. Gross deals Dykstra in the right center. That's going to drop for a hit, and that's how this one starts. Wally Backman homered against the Pirates and singled. Overall, in real life anyway, 320 with that one home run and 27 RBI. Throw to first, and Dykstra is back. Maybe 84 if he didn't qualify as a rookie. Steve's just here to see the fanatic. Oh, Dutch's rookie year was actually 83. Just look at the age there. He'd been pretty young. One of the big reasons why the Phillies of 93 got as far as they did. Phillies are 2-0. Mets, as we said, have only played one game. Backman into right center field. One of those drops in front of Thompson. Dykstra on to third, and the Mets have runners in the corners and nobody out for Keith Hernandez, who went 1 for 3 with a single in the opening. 310, 13 homers, 83 RBI, and a lot of games of Strat in 86 in real life. There's a ground ball past Schmidt down the line at third. Reedus has to go find it. Dykstra will score. Backman around third. Reedus is going to try to take a shot at him. The throw to the plate, not in time. So both runs score. Backman and Dykstra score. And it is 2-0 New York. For Gary Carter, 1 for 4 in the opener, 255, 24 homers, and 105 RBI in real life. How you doing, Aaron? Excuse me. Carter grounds this one to Jeltz over to Hayes, and Gary is out. Finally, 1 out for Darryl Strawberry, who had a solo homer in that Met win opening day. 259 overall, 27 homers, and 93 RBI. Phillies won the season series 10-8 in real life. They're the only other team to be above 500 in that division. Aaron rooting for the Mets. Walked him, so Strawberry takes first base. Gross along first. 1 out for Danny Heap, who pinch hit single in the opener against the Pirates. 282 overall for Danny, 5 homers and 33 RBI. That is a high ground ball to Samuel Jeltz for 1, Hayes for 2. So Gross struggles, but the damage is limited to 2 runs. After half an inning, 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. Mets leave on the runner and lead it 2-0. So Ron Darling, yes dear, 25 years old, 34 starts, 15-6 with a 2.81 ERA, 237 innings. 203 hits, 84 runs, 74 earned, 21 homers. He walked 81 and struck out 184. Fastball pitcher at 90. And doesn't favor the ground ball or the fly ball. Gary Arenas leads off in left for Philadelphia. Milt Thompson in center will bat second. Juan Samuel at second goes third. Mike Schmidt in his 37 home runs, that lead the league, cleans up at third base. Glenn Wilson will bat fifth in right field. Vaughn Hayes at first will bat sixth. Darren Dalton, who's just a part-time player behind the plate, batting seventh. Steve Jeltz at short goes eighth. Kevin Gross on the mound batting ninth. And Darling can get you into the eighth most games at 115 pitches. Defensively for the Mets, Howard Johnson a 4 at third. Rafael Santana a 6 and a 6 at short. Wally Backman a 4 and a 5 at second. Outside of Keith Hernandez, this is a so-so infield, but Keith is a 10 at first. Danny Heap, not your everyday left fielder. He's a 4 and a 6 there. Lenny Dykstra a 9 and a 7 in center. And Darryl Strawberry a 5 range, but a 9 arm. Gary Carter an 8 and a 4 behind the plate. And Darling is an 8 on the mound with a 9-10 fielding percentage. In Phillies series against the Reds, Reedus went 1 for 9 with an RBI. Overall, 247, 11 homers, and 33 RBI. A lot of base runners, yep. Rest in peace, Davey Johnson. Yep, Steve says, I used to like the bullpens at the vet. You could look down into them from above, and they used to sell yearbooks there. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Over where the auxiliary scoreboards would be today. Or not today, but in this picture. Renas pops it up. Carter to the screen. And we'll do it again. 0-2 the count. That is cool. I did not know that. And Darling struck him out in 0-2 curveball on the outside corner, one away. Milt Thompson, 3 for 8 against the Reds. 375 and 3 RBI. Overall, 251, 6 homers and 23 RBI. Ground ball to Backman behind the bag over to first. Thompson's out. For one, Sam Well, who went 1 for 10 and didn't steal a bag against the Reds. Hit 266 and 86, 12 triples, 16 homers, and 78 RBI. And Darling struck him out, so the Phillies go 1-2-3. Darling got him to chase a 1-2 fastball, a splitter. And that'll do. After 1, Mets 2, Phillies nothing. So Gross threw 26 pitches in the first. And to back up John's a lot of base runners, a 4.02 ERA backs John up. Hojo, 2 for 5 in the opener. He singled twice and scored. Overall, just a part-time player for the Mets, 245, 10 homers, and 39 RBI. That is a base hit into right field. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Wilson plays it off a bounce, and Howard's in the second standing with a double. Gross's whip, by the way, was 1.382, which isn't great, but not terrible. Rafael Santana, 1 for 3 with a run scored against the Pirates. Not a good hitter. 218 in real life with a home run and 28 RBI. And is not in a position to bunt here. Hard ground ball to Jeltz. Looks Johnson back, throws to first. Hojo goes to third. And Santana's retired, 1 out for Darling. An 0.99 hitter who went 8 for 81. When your slugging percentage, you did have 2 doubles, is lower than your on-base percentage, that's not good. How you doing, Barb? Darling swings, ground ball to Hayes. They'll take the sure out at first. He flips it to Gross, and Darling is retired. 2 out, 3-0 Mets. For Lenny Dykstra, who singled his first time up. Gross opening 9. First time through the lineup, 35 pitches, inning and 2/3. I'm doing well, thanks. 3 runs, all earned, 4 hits and a walk. Tomorrow depends on the next set of meetings I'm supposed to have. It's also an alpha out for payoff pitch, so we might squeeze that in tomorrow night. The next game in the replay is Toronto and Kansas City, and it's being penciled in for noon on Friday. Dykstra past Hayes into right field. Wilson has to go field it off the wall. Lenny's digging for 3. Lenny goes home. Lenny Dykstra has an inside the park home run. I was thinking as he was going to past second that he may not stop, and he didn't. That is an inside the park home run. It just got down by Hayes, and Wilson had to watch it roll around. Dykstra just never laid off the speed, and by the time he got to third, I'm thinking to myself, is he stopping? And the answer is no. Wow. So 4-0 Mets. On the inside, that is so rare. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen one in Action PC Baseball before. Wally Backman singled his first time up. To Hayes, and Gross is through 2, but barely hanging on. My word, 2 runs, 2 hits, the inside park home run by Lenny Dykstra. Makes it the Mets 4, the Phillies nothing. So Schmidt went 2 for 8 against Cincinnati with a run scored. Overall, probably his last best year, 290, 37 homers, and 119 RBI. And Darling struck him out. He chased a 2-2 fastball, 1 out. For Glenn Wilson, 1 for 10 in the opening series with an RBI. Overall, Glenn hit 271 and 86, 15 homers, and 84 RBI. I saw that the Royals are 89. Did he actually have a good year? I thought he retired in 89. Yep, the Royals are moving in their fences, 8-9 feet, lowering them. Now, I know the Chiefs are on their way to Missouri eventually, or Kansas eventually. Have the Royals closed a deal to build the park by the Negro League Museum? Pitch to Wilson. Struck him out. Darling is on fire right now. 1-2 off speed. Got him swinging. 2 out. For Vaughn Hayes, you got to love April numbers. He's hitting 778. He went 7 for 9 against the Reds. 5 runs scored, 2 doubles, a homer, and 5 RBI. Oh, Dykstra was traded to the Phillies in 89. Yep. That was on Father's Day in the Juan Samuel trade. Hayes swings. That's into left field. Back goes Heap. Danny retreats. Will make the grab, and that will do. Phillies go in order again. We go the third, 4-0 Mets. So Hernandez, Carter, and Strawberry to face a weebly-wobbly Kevin Groves. Keith had a 2-run double in the first. Hernandez into center field. Thompson going back. Milt will make the grab, 1 out. 408 to dead center, by the way. 330 down the lines and 375 in the power alleys. Gary Carter 0 for 1. There is a ground ball to Jeltz over to Hayes for the out. Darryl Strawberry 1 for 4 on the season. I believe he walked his first time up. Oh, I forgot to put in the patch. There's been a couple patches since the last stream. Strawberry, hard ground ball to Samuel over to Hayes, and the Phillies finally get a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2.5 in the books. Mets 4, Phillies nothing. I don't think we've been on since Mike Tomlin quit. It'll be Dalton, Jeltz, and Gross here in the third. Darren 1 for 4 against the Reds with a double and an RBI. Overall, very limited duty. 225, 8 homers, and 21 RBI. That is a base hit in the left field. It got past Santana. Heap will hold him to a single. So the first hit for the Phillies. Here's Steve Jeltz, who's 0 for 5, but he scored twice. 219 overall, no homers, 36 RBI. And remember, we are smack dab in the middle of the good glove, no-hit shortstop era. Struck him out, 5 for Darling. Now, Gross can hit. Be interesting. Gross can actually homer. He hit 188 in 86 with a homer and 5 RBI. Mets play for the bunt. What do I do here? I'm tempted to swing. We're going to swing. Struck him out. No harm, no foul. Gross chased an 0-2. So Darling 2 2/3. 9 batters, 37 pitches, a hit, and 6 strikeouts. Steve thinks that Tomlin's going to be a broadcaster. You know what? He coached for 19 years in Pittsburgh, and I think he's still younger than I am. I don't think he's 54 yet. Gary Reedus struck out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Dalton on first, 2 out. That's the first Phillies base runner. They trail 4-0. Carter That was an excuse me swing, and by the time that Gary got around to it, Reedus was on first. An infield single. Carter was smart not to try to turn it into a double. So 2 on and 2 out for Thompson, who's 0 for 1. That is a ground ball. Santana behind the bag at second, throws to first, and that will do. However, the Phillies show some signs of life. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. And after 3 here at the Vet, New York 4, Philadelphia nothing. So Heap, Johnson, and Santana to face Kevin Gross here in the 4th. Danny is 0 for 1. That is a line shot past Samuel into center field. So Gross continues to be the Weeble Wobble. That's the 6th hit for the Mets. Howard Johnson doubled his first time up. That is into right center field, and that's a base hit. So first and second, nobody out for Santana, who was 0 for 1. Kevin Gross has none stuff today. That is into right center for a base hit. Wilson picks it up, Heap around third, but will back up. And so now you got to wonder what they're going to do. That's 3 straight singles off of Gross. And Darling, who cannot hit at the plate. So do you pitch to him, or do you? I don't think he's going to squeeze here. And you wouldn't need to when it's a 4-0 game. Ground ball to Jeltz. Oh, web jam. They're going to try for 2. So Jeltz robs Darling of a hit. Heap will score. Samuel for 1. Hayes for 2. They do turn to 6-4-3 double play, but the Mets put up a 5th run. What a play by Steve Jeltz. So runner on third, 2 out. Nails has that inside the park home run and a single today. Gross, it's a bad report card for Kevin Gross. 18 batters, 72 pitches, 3 2/3, 5 runs, all earned, 8 hits, the home run to Dykstra, and a walk. And he walks Dykstra. I think my thought here would be to get Gross to the plate again and then yank him. Here's Backman. Backman 1 for 2 today with a single. This is not a great outing for Kevin Gross. There is a high ground ball to Schmidt. He goes over to Hayes, and they're finally out of the inning. 1 more run for the Mets on 3 hits and no errors. And after 3.5, it's the Mets 5, the Phillies nothing. So here are the standings. Montreal, St. Louis, and Philadelphia all 2-0. The Mets a half game back at 1-0. Pittsburgh and Chicago and the rear. The Dodgers start 3-1. Probably not a surprise considering that they won the division in 85. San Francisco, and then no one else is over 500. In the West, in the American League, California and Oakland are 3-0. Texas 2-1. And in the East, New York, Boston, Cleveland, and Milwaukee are all above 500. Yesterday, in the games that you didn't see, Yankees beat the Royals 3-1. Red Sox beat the Tigers 6-4. Milwaukee, behind Paul Householder's big day, beat the White Sox 6-2. St. Louis beat the Cubs 4-3. Alfredo Griffin a 3-hit day. Oakland beat Minnesota 4-3. Expos beat the Braves 7-3. Andre Dawson a 3-hit day. Cleveland put 19 up on Baltimore. Tony Bernazard 4 hits in that 19-7 win. Jays beat the Rangers 3-1. San Francisco shut out Houston 4-0. San Diego beat the Dodgers 4-1. And California beat Seattle 8-6. Samuel struck out his first time up, one of the 6 that Ron Darling has. Jelts led the league in groundouts? Or Jerry curls? Probably. It's one of the funniest scenes in Coming to America is them all on the couch with whatever that gel is that they had. It's the real life, it was Afro Sheen. And they get off the plastic couch and you can see the grease marks on it. Funny stuff. Samuel draws a walk. So Samuel, a threat to steal. Here's Schmidt. He's 0 for 1 with a K. Doesn't go. Ground ball past Santana into left field. So Samuel will hold at second. So first and second, nobody out for Glenn Wilson, who was struck out his first time up. There's another base hit past Santana. Heat will play it on a hard hop. Samuel around third to throw to Carter. They got him! 66 isn't 100. So Danny Heat and Carter just kind of held his ground, put the glove down, and tagged him. So it's 5-0. Wow. So he just kind of has that wry smile on his face. Here's Vaughn Hayes. He's 0 for 1. So Schmidt on second, Wilson on first. Hayes into right center. Dykstra moving over. Lenny will make the catch. Schmidt will hold with 2 out. Don't get 2 runners thrown out in 1 inning. Here's Darren Dalton. He singled his first time up. Fly ball to right. Back goes Strawberry. That's well hit, but should stay and will stay in the yard. So the Phillies threaten but do not score. They have a runner thrown out the plate. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors. We go to the 5th. Mets 5, Phillies nothing. I think Barb is getting some snow today. Supposed to start here as rain overnight. And then change over to snow. Hernandez, 1 for 2. Keith has a double and 2 RBI. This will be Gross's last inning because he is due to bat second here in the bottom of the 5th. High ground ball to Hayes. Takes it to the bag himself. 1 out. For Gary Carter, who is 0 for 2. 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Mets. Rain, then snow tonight until tomorrow. Yep, same system. No runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Phillies, and they've left on 4. Struck him out. Oh, yeah, now you pitch well. He checked his swing on a 1-2 and didn't check it in time. Joe Strawberry 0 for 1 with a walk. Straw hits a high ground ball to Hayes, and Vaughn can't play it. It played him. I wonder if that will happen at some other point in the Mets season. No, couldn't possibly happen again. So that's an error on Hayes. 2 out for Danny Heat, who's got himself a single. He's 1 for 2. They throw down to Jelts, and Strawberry has the base stolen. Strawberry, not quite a 30-30 player in 86. If he played every day, I bet he would have been. So, runner in scoring position, and a 1-strike count to Danny Heat. And Gross walks him. Can you just get the 3rd out? Please, please. For Hojo, Howard is singled and doubled. He's not going to triple. He's going to get another base hit, however. Wilson picks it up. Strawberry around third. Wilson's throw to the plate is not in time, and it's 6-0. And so we've reached the point in a simulated game where the starter's got to go, but he's batting second in the inning, and you really don't want to double switch. Rafael Santana may be the tonic that Kevin Gross needs. He is 1 for 2 today. I mean, you guys must have faced this. You got a pitcher who couldn't fool a baby playing peekaboo, and you just want him to get out of the inning. Ball 4. So Ron Darling will be the last batter that grows faces no matter what. He's 0 for 2 today with an RBI. Dalton hits him hard. Gross steals. That's a ground ball to Samuel. Has to hurry. Throws to Hayes, and we're halfway home. All Mets all the time. 66 and 101.9 WFAN. Oh, no. We'll be back after this. Funny, no one took the Phils in the poll. 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Mets. No runs, 4 hits, an error for the Phillies. Keith Hernandez, a 2-run double in the first, got it started for New York. And then Ron Darling, a fielder's choice in the second, made it 3-0. Lenny Dykstra, an inside the park home run. That was cool to make it 4-0. Ron Darling again, a fielder's choice to make it 5-0 in the fourth. Phillies failed to score on 2 hits and a walk. Yingling sales went through the roof there. And in the bottom or the top of the fifth, Hojo with an RBI single to make it 6-0. Kevin Gross has been gross. 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned. The home run to Dykstra, he has walked 4 and struck out 1. He's done. Ron Darling, 4 innings, a 4-hit ball, a walk, and a strikeout, and 6 strikeouts. Todd B says every Indians game from the mid-'80s has this problem. How many of those have you actually played, though? I mean, have you taken... For those of you who are fans of mediocre teams, Steve Jeltz, by the way, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Darling starts the inning. Strikeout number 7. Wow. All right. Who can hit a righty? And the answer is going to... Really, Gary Maddox. Gary, at the end of his career, 0 for 1. 3 for 7, 429 in real life. So how many of you, it doesn't really matter when you grew up, and your favorite team was kind of an afterthought in races, how many of you have actually done a project or a season replay with one of those teams from when you were young and all that? Thankfully, none, Todd B says. Pitched to Maddox, struck him out. That worked. 2 out. Darling has struck out a good morning and a good afternoon. And here's Gary Reedus, who's 1 for 2 with a strikeout. 74 pitches for Darling, 18 batters, 4 2/3. 4 hits, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. There's a fly ball to center. Dykstra reaching back, and Lenny makes the grab. Through 5. No runs, no hits, and no errors. Mets 6, Phillies nothing. So we're going to go with... why not? You're down 6-0. The hero of 1983, Charlie Hudson. Hudson, 27, fastball at 88, 7-10 for the Phillies with a 4.94 ERA. 33 games, 23 starts, 144 innings, 165 hits, 87 runs, 79 earned. 20 homers, 58 walks, and 82 strikeouts. Scott says, I've not done such a project, but maybe you'll do the Cubs or the White Sox season from the 70s or 80s. I think, if you looked at 77 was the year that they both did well. If you look at like the Cubs or White Sox, as Scott says, from that era, or maybe the Expos from 79 through 84, where if a couple things go their way, they can make a run or go to the playoffs. Lenny Dykstra is 2 for 2. He has walked, hit that inside the park home run, and driven in a run. Fly ball, left field, Reedus. Gary over in the corner and can't get there. Somebody from Woodbury, New Jersey made that catch, and the count is full. You also, the 59 season before you were born, well, the White Sox won that year. John did the 77 Indians and got them above 500 in your Dwayne Kuiper project. Todd Beach, 77, I'm assuming White Sox in your 77-82. Disappointing, but a fun team. I think in that environment, I think what gets kind of lost, pitch to Dykstra, struck him out. Hudson has one. A full count for Backman, who's 1 for 3. I think you get to the point where people forget that you are a product of your own season. There's a line shot to center. Thompson will pick it up off a hop, and Wally's 2 for 4. Hernandez 1 for 3. Keith is a double and 2 RBI. There are some teams that obviously transcend that, and we're watching one today in the 86 Mets. But if you expand it to other sports, if you put the 72 Dolphins, even in a 70s greatest hits league, do they finish above 500? There's a ground ball to Schmidt. Samuel for 1, and that's going to be it. So Schmidt makes a great play and gets the fielder's choice 5-4. 2 out for Carter, who was 0 for 3 with a K. White Sox got swept using History Maker Baseball Express on Scott's table. Go-Go Sox, those are one of those teams like the 85 Cardinals or anything that requires a lot of extra work, because they were not the Earl Weaver wait for the 3-run homer team that needs human intervention, I think, to win. Carter, ground ball to Jeltz, over to Samuel, and that will do. So the Mets do not score. They got a hit off of Hudson, who threw 22 pitches in the 6th after 5.5. Mets 6, Phillies nothing. So Thompson, Samuel, and Schmidt to face Darling here. Milt 0 for 2. The 72 Dolphins are a great story, but if you put them with other teams that would be their peers, their offense is so one-dimensional. The defense isn't the problem. Their defense is tremendous. Thompson swings right field. Strawberry going back to the wall, and Darrell makes the catch up against the plexiglass in the bullpen. 1 out for Samuel, who's 0 for 1. He has walked and struck out. In your Action PC 85 res, replay, the Cardinals beat you in the NLCS and lost to Toronto in the World Series. As you know from the history of this channel, Pete Rose's Reds teams played hard. Pitch to Samuel, struck him out. That's 9 for Darling. Juan chased an 0-2 fastball. 2 out for Schmidt, 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. But the Reds would qualify as that, a team that probably wasn't going to do it, but again, you twist a couple arms, you do a couple things that they may not have done in real life, and you get there. I imagine if someone did like an 83 to 93 Blue Jays project, that they would go to the World Series a bunch more times. Fly ball, center field, Dykstra. Moves over to the left and makes the catch, and we're through 6. No runs, no hits, and no errors. To the 7th we go, 6-0 New York. Todd never did such a football project, but don't those mix of NFL eras, well, the newer teams, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you were to play the 07 Patriots against the 72 Dolphins, that would be a misnomer. The only, I think, team that could keep up with a bunch of more modern teams would be the 62 Packers. But if you did, let's say, 68 to 77 before the pass interference rules were tightened up, I think they'd have a hard time. Strawberry is 0 for 2 with a 1. Hudson starts the inning. There's a fly ball to left. Back goes Reedus. Gary is running. Is he going to have enough room? No, it's foul. And someone from Atlantic City made that catch. It's 0-2. Struck him out. Hudson's done well. Danny Heap 1 for 2 with a walk. I mean, yeah, you got to be careful with the NFL when it comes to that. But I think that's also the same in baseball. You put the 75 Reds up in one of those greatest team things, and they're going to score their share of runs, but there's no ace. Popped up. Dalton makes the catch. 2 out. For Howard Johnson, Hojo is 3 for 3. He's had a pretty good game. 2 singles, a double, and an RBI. 88 Jays beat LA in your Strat Card and Dice project last year, or 85 Jays, because I can read. In your Strat 83 Jays replay, you won 107 games and lost to the Twins in the ALCS. Interesting. Is there such a football game that can level the field to speak or normalize? Action PC, as John says, can do it. But again, if you got a result, let's say, that the 62 Packers beat the 99 Rams, for instance. Pitch to Hojo is a ground ball to Samwell, over to Hayes, and Howard is retired. We'll talk more about that after the stretch. So let's say you had that. It'll be, by the way, Wilson, Hayes, and Dalton to face Darling here in the 7th. If you had one of those upsets, such as the 58 Colts or the 62 Packers or even the 68 Jets, and they beat a more modern team, let's say 21st century team, then you kind of go, would people actually believe it? You're here for the stretch. How you doing? 2nd and 10 is a good product for the price. Otto Graham, I think, is unstoppable. Dan Fouts and Dan Marino may be above average. Cross-era draft league. You could argue. Don't tell people this, but you could argue. Pitch to Wilson. Struck him out. That's 10 for Darling, by the way. That Sammy Baugh and Otto Graham are top 5 quarterbacks in football history. Look at Sammy Baugh's numbers with Washington back in the 40s. Vaughn Hayes is 0 for 2. Darling deals. That's a fly ball right center. Dykstra going back, and the Phillies are on the board. Hayes with a home run into the seats out there. That was long gone. And so the Phillies, with 1 out here in the 7th, are on the board. It's 6-1. So only the 5th hit for Philadelphia. Here's Dalton, 1 for 2 with a single. The cutoff and is that the Steve Tate draft league is 1950. It's such a different game. But someone had the chance to take the sum of Tom Fears. I have no idea what that sound was. Oh, the 0-2. Ground ball to the mound. Johnson cuts it off, and he hits Darling. Johnson and Darling got tangled up on that one. That's a rare play. We got a football sound in the baseball game. And they still get the runner. Johnson and Darling make sure that each other are okay. And there's 2 out for Jeltz, who has struck out twice. He is 0 for 2. Make it 11 for Darling. How about that? So Ron feeling just fine. Thank you very much. We go to the 8th. Phillies a run on the homer by Hayes. 1 hit and no errors. Mets 6, Phillies 1. So here's Santana. Raphael is 1 for 2. He is singled and walked. Darling and Dykstra to follow. Hudson has pitched really well out of the pen. That's a base hit, left center field. Thompson will cut it off, and Santana holds with a single. I can't see them bunting 5 runs up. But Hayes and Schmidt come in to see what Ron Darling, who's 0 for 3 with an RBI, wants to do. He does bunt, and they go to second to get the force there. So the bunt does not work. Dalton to Jeltz. It goes 2-6 on the card on the fielder's choice. So 1 out for Dykstra, who is 2 for 3. A walk inside the park home run and a strikeout. Popped up. Jeltz on the pad. 2 out. 51 days to the World Baseball Classic. Now, we got talking about the Golden at bat because of that. What would you think about that in the World Baseball Classic? It did sound like a quarterback sack. The wave file that shouldn't have been there. Wally Backman, by the way, is 2 for 4. He is singled twice. Slow chopper to Samuel, and that hit Darling. Poor Ron Darling. He got ran over by Howard Johnson, and then he got a ball hit at him. And that's the inning, because if you're hit, you're out. After 7.5, Mets 2 hits, no runs, no errors. They still lead it 6-1. So we'll let Hudson stay in the game. He, again, has pitched well. He hit 0-47. You're down 5 runs. Save the pen. He makes contact. Santana's got it over to Hernandez for the out. 1 away. Gary Reedus 1 for 3. A single and a strikeout. Darling 7 1/3. The 1 run came on the homer from Vaughn Hayes in the 7th. 5 hits, 1 walk, and 11 strikeouts. The game disguised it very well, Andy. Pitch to Reedus, and he draws the walk. So 1 out for Milt Thompson, who's 0 for 3. There's a chopper to third. Hojo, only play is to first, and Thompson's out on the bang-banger. So Reedus goes to second, 2 out for Samuel, who has struck out twice and walked. Yet, 2nd and 10 has the All-American Football Conference, the WFL, and the USFL. Has Wayne got out the 25 rosters yet? Carter and Darling have a word. Fly ball, left field. Back goes Danny Heap. That is well hit, but that's hooking. Foul. And that guy from North Philadelphia just keeps making that catch. Struck him out. 12 for Darling. What an effort. What an effort from Ron Darling. We go to the 9th here at the Vet on a cold night, 47 degrees. What little breeze is blowing out to that Budweiser sign in left center. To the ninth we go. No runs, no hits, no errors. Mets 6, Phillies 1. I wonder how many inside the pen home runs Dykstra had. I'm not touching that one. More than 1, less than 10. Hernandez, Carter, and Strawberry to face Hudson. See if this decision was wise on me not to go to someone else. Keith 1 for 4. He had that double in the first to drive in 2. Fly ball to right. Wilson in the corner. That's well hit. That's going to hook foul. And somebody from Harrisburg made that catch a ball in 2 strikes. There's a fly ball right center. Thompson will make the grab. 1 out for Gary Carter, who is 0 for 4 with a strikeout. That's a base hit left field. Ritos will pick it up. And Carter, 1 for 5. Strawberry 0 for 3. A walk and a strikeout. 1 out. Hudson has thrown 3 1/3 scoreless innings. Mets looking for their second win of 86. And Strawberry draws the walk. And let's see. I think that's it for Charlie Hudson. We're going to go with Don Carmen. Don Carmen sings to himself, all by myself. You're gonna be all by yourself anymore. 10-5 for Carmen in 86. A 3.22 ERA. 50 games. He started 14, but those will all come in the second half. 134 1/3, 113 hits, 50 runs, 48 earned. 11 home runs, 52 walks, and 98 strikeouts. Fastball pitcher at 90 and a fly ball pitcher. Some disgruntled old man from Lancaster caught that one. Had sights on the back of his uniform. You get a D, and you get a D, and you get a D. Yeah, that's right. Danny Heap is 1 for 3 today with a walk. So first and second, 1 out. Carmen just trying to keep it a 5-run game. And Ray Knight will come in to pinch hit. Knight, 298, 11 homers and 76 RBI. So Carter on second. Advantage Mets here. And Strawberry on first. Carmen deals. Knight into right field for a base hit. That's all the way to the wall. Carter will score. Knight has a double. And Strawberry on third. So it's 7-1 Mets. For Howard Johnson, 3 for 4, a double, and an RBI. Fly ball left field. Ritos will come in to make the catch. Strawberry will hold. 2 out for Rafael Santana, 2 for 3. That was funny, Todd. With a walk. Was Fritz with him? Struck him out. So Carmen works around the double. Mets go to the pen. They're going to bring in Randy Neiman to finish this one out. 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. Mets have left on 10, but when you're up 7-1, who cares? I would take the over on that. Neiman does not have a mother. Oh, my God, he's got the Dennis Lamp mustache. 30 years old, fastball at 84, a ground ball plus pitcher. 2 and 3, a 3.79 earned run average. 31 appearances, 1 start. 35 2/3. Look at Schmidt's numbers there on the left. 44 hits, 17 runs, 15 earned. He allowed 2 homers. He walked 12 and struck out 18. Phil's 6 to tie, 7 to win. Schmidt 1 for 3 with a strikeout. It wasn't the fact that the Mets just won a lot. Again, the Phillies were the only team in the division to finish above 500 after them. So you got 4 teams that you can just thump on in the National League East. Ground ball past Santana, base hit. For Glenn Wilson, who has struck out twice and singled, he's 1 for 3. I mean, that is Groucho. That is take the masking tape and put the magic marker on there. Chopper past Hojo into left field. Foster is in the game and left now. He's a 7-3. 2 on, nobody out for Vaughn Hayes. At some point, Foster said one too many words and got let go. Hayes had that home run in the 7th. He's 1 for 3. Popped up. Right side, Hernandez. 1 out. For Darren Dalton, we're not going to go lefty versus lefty. We'll go with Rick Shue. Ed Sullivan's favorite player because he was a really big shoe. He has a pinch hit single. Had that against the Reds. 274 overall, 8 homers, and 25 RBI. Are the Mets still paying Foster? I know you asked that in jest, but I'm sure some of that money was deferred. He played there longer than I thought. Shue popped it up. Center field. Might score Schmidt. Dykstra's there. Makes the catch. 2 out. And Schmidt will go. Dykstra throws it in a 7-2. Last chance saloon for the Phils. Here's Jeltz, who was 0 for 3 today with 3 strikeouts. YouTube is updating their streams midstream. Slow bounder to Hernandez, and that is the ball game. So on this Friday night, the Mets with an easy win. They beat the Phillies 7-2. So in 3.5 fake hours, Mets go to 2-0, 7 runs, 14 hits, no errors, and leave on 10. Philadelphia, 2 runs, 7 hits, and an error, and they left on 6. Darling, your digital dice MVP, 8 innings to get his first win, 5 hits. The home run to Hayes, the only run. He walked 2 and struck out 12. I thought someone else said that the Mets, Phillies won that 10-8. Magic number, 1. Neiman gave up the run in the 9th, but they don't care. Kevin Gross, 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned. A home run to Dykstra. He walked 4 and struck out 1. Hudson, 3 1/3 out of the pen. 4 hits, the run, it was earned. He walked 1 and struck out 2. And Don Carmen, 2/3 of an inning, a hit and a strikeout. Yeah, Darling's definitely the player of the game. The rest of this Friday night in baseball for you. This may be the last time the Mets are out of first place. Tigers beat the Indians 6-5. Walt Terrell gets the win. Phil Niekro, yep, he pitched for Cleveland, takes the loss. Darrell Evans, no, you come back here. 2 for 5 with 2 homers and 4 RBI. Toronto beat Kansas City 3-2. Jim Clancy topped Mark Gubiza. Willie Upshaw 2 for 3 with the triple. The Yankees just pound Milwaukee 13-3 at the stadium. Tewksbury 1-0. Wegman opened up a grocery store and took the loss. He's 0-1. Don Mattingly drives in 5. 3 for 5 with his first of the year. Cubs beat the Pirates 3-2 in Pittsburgh in 12. Scott Sanderson gets the win. Yom Kipper gets the loss. He's 0-1. Davey Lopes a solo homer and a walk. Twins beat the Mariners 10-7. Smith gets the win. Best was not. He falls to 0-1. And that's Dave Henderson, 2 for 5, 2 homers. He now has 3 on the short season with 2 RBIs, so 2 solo shots. Expos beat the Cardinals 6-2 and 13. Jeff Reardon 1-0. Jeff Lottie 0-1. Andre Dawson hits his first, goes 2 for 6, and drives in 2. White Sox beat the Red Sox 4-2. Bannister gets the win. Bob Stanley takes the loss. Greg Walker, 2 homers, 2 for 2, and 4 RBI. Orioles shut out the Rangers 4-0. Storm Davis 1-0. Jim Mason falls to 0-1. Juan Beniquez 2-5. By the way, I told you what Greg Walker did. Astros beat the Braves 8-3. Jim DeShays 1-0. Glens Falls, New York's David Palmer 0-1. Glenn Hubbard 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. Where's Scotty? San Francisco 5, the Dodgers 3. Mark Davis gets the win. He's 1-0. Jerry Royce is 0-1. And Dan Gladden, who is with the Giants, 3 for 5 with a seal. The Padres beat the Reds 6-3. Eric Shaw gets the win. He's 1-1. And John Denny, 0-1. Gary Templeton, 3 for 4, 3 RBI, and 2 doubles. And last but not least, California benefits from 12 walks. They beat the A's 15-3. Ron Romanek 1-0. Langford 0-1, and Carney Lansford 2 for 3 with a home run. Phil's need a managerial change. You picked the Mets. All right. So if we're on tomorrow night, it's probably going to be payoff pitch to do the latest alpha for that. Our next scheduled game here will be Friday at noon Eastern. The Bob and Tony game of the week. Acker and Dennis Leonard, the 2-2 Jays versus the 0-4 Kansas City Royals. We'll talk to you sometime soon. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody.